Like, your
Um,
father didn't go to business school, did he?
no, my dad went to the school of hard knocks.
Knox, yeah, and
Yeah,
so many of those guys in that generation kill it, and then,
yeah,
you get your NBA guys that go work for people like your dad,
yeah.
you know?
Because they, I mean, man, they went to the school of hard knocks. They had to leave their country. They had forced out of their country at 30 whatever years old.
Yeah,
Couldn't even speak the language. My dad's first job actually was to pump gas at a gas station here in Houston.
mind-blowing.
Yeah, and then after that, he fixed TVs. So he still knows how to fix the old school TVs. He doesn't know how to fix the flat screens,
Wow.
but yeah, he did that, and then he sold insurance door to door, life insurance door to door,
For how long?
and for a few years. But he has like 50 trophies in his house that says salesman of the year and sales team of the year. And he's like, Reagan, imagine going door to door. I couldn't even speak English, and I'm trying to. He's like, my district was the ghetto, so how can you convince people with barely any extra income to buy life insurance because they're just trying to buy food
Food
for
for
their kids? He's like, how can you convince them to buy life insurance when they can barely feed their family? And he was able to do that. So that's my inspiration really
what do you
is.
think what do you think drives your dad from your perspective?
um I mean, his love for his family, is what I believe. Like well, I know just from stories from other people and my uncles and aunts and things. My family, when they were in Vietnam before the war, they were well to do already. Um, and my dad was a playboy,
Mhm.
and that's what he was known as. And there's pictures of him from back in the day, where in his like 3-piece suits and stuff in Vietnam, growing up in Vietnam. So I think he was always had a taste of that life, and then when he came to America with $0 in his pocket, of course he knew he had to hustle to get back to where they were, I guess. And he is the oldest of 11 kids.
Oh, there you go.
11 surviving kids. They had like 16 or 17 siblings. And so my dad was the oldest, and he once he got here, he was basically thinking like, that playboy, whatever life is over. It's like it's time to hustle, and so he did.
Stepped up, stepped the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he didn't have a choice, really. I mean, a lot of our parents didn't when they got here.
Yeah.
They just had to find a way.
And how much of that success do you think is luck from your perspective?
Of course, some of it is luck. I'm not going to lie. Some of it's timing. um, for instance, okay, the luck, or I don't know if it was luck or timing. One of those Malcolm Gladwell books talks about being in the right place at the right time. I forget which book. Yeah. Okay. So at the time, my dad, fast forward, my mom was working at a Circle K convenience store, gas station, and then the
Your mom
owner of that,
your mom was
my
working
my
at it?
mom, yeah,
Wow.
my
Like,
mom. So
as a
my dad,
clerk?
yes, yeah, at the register. So my dad was like selling the life insurance door to door, and then my mom was working at the Circle K, and the owner of that Circle K was deciding to retire and wanted to sell the store. And so my mom convinced them, because she said, I've been managing the store for you anyway for the past, whatever, 2 or 3 years. He's like, why don't you finance it for me and help me out, sell it to me? And so he decided to sell it to my parents. And then they started with that one store. So that's a little bit of luck and timing. The
Mhm.
owner was retiring, and he decided to help them out and financing it for them. And they ended up with like 25 convenience stores eventually.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and so that's when they really started, to build the wealth. So they went from there, and then from the 25 convenience stores, fast forward again to like there's the saving and loans crisis, the banking crisis in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so a lot of retail centers owners were going bankrupt. And at that time, through the convenience stores, we had a lot of cash, and that cash is king always. And so as a lot of these retail centers are going bankrupt and the banks are taking them back and they're selling it for, pennies on the dollar, is when my dad started buying retail centers. So that's another kind of timing deal where, the crisis presented an opportunity for him. So I don't know if you call it luck, but but it is kind of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I hear the story and I'm thinking that that whole convenience store with the decision from your mother to ask the owner to finance. I mean, that's so pivotal.
Yeah,
That point in your family's history is so pivotal because from there it goes to 25 convenience stores, and then you can leverage off and do all the other stuff in the crime
right.
SNL
And
logo.
as they're buying more convenience stores, they keep sponsoring more family members from Vietnam.